wonderful morning. I hope you're all doing great. So, how was your day? How is life treating you right now? Can you feel the heat of summer? I'm sure you do. We all do. And we are all super excited to have you here about the conversation we'll have today. Let me introduce first your teachers for this video. Teacher Shayla, Teacher Jessica, Teacher Claire, Teacher Cyril, and yours truly, Teacher Jason. Today, we'll be sharing with you the transitional words or devices that can surely help you organize and deliver your thoughts, which you can use in your essays, speeches, and so much more. To help you better understand the concept of transition signals, you need to deepen your knowledge and understanding by discovering what the topic is all about. But first, let us study these given sentences. First, threats and trials were rough. Second, life is full of challenges but meant to be well. What have you noticed about how we use the underlined words? The underlined words are and, but. In sentence number 1, the transition word and is used to connect two incidents equally, while in sentence number 2, the transition word but introduces the opposite ideas. Take note that simple conjunctions serve different purposes. Conjunctions that join words, phrases, or clauses together are the most basic transitional devices or words. The words and but are examples of transitional devices. Moving on with our target objectives, at the end of our discussion, we must be able to 1. Discuss the meaning and purpose of transitional devices, 2. Differentiate the uses of transitional devices in sentences and paragraphs, 3. Scan texts rapidly for connecting words or expressions that signal sequence. 4th, construct sentences using transitional devices. And lastly, we must be able to write a paragraph using transitional devices to achieve coherence.
What we are about to share with you are the common types and functions of transition words, and these are just a few of what we usually and commonly use. First, we have comparison or contrast. Basically, it points out alternatives or differences. In comparison, we have the words as, also, likewise, similarly, in the same way, compared to, and by comparison. Meanwhile, we use transition words like but, despite, however, even though, on the contrary, meanwhile, and conversely to show contrast. Here is an example. The boy likes animals, but he is afraid of cats. Similarly, he doesn't like lions and tigers. On the contrary, he likes animals that could fly, such as sparrows and falcons. In the first sentence, we use the transition word but to contrast the first idea that the boy likes animals and the second idea that he is afraid of cats. We used similarly and on the contrary. Next, we have chronology. As we all know, chronology helps us define time. We have words like after, before, during, first, later, next, simultaneously, and soon. We often see these words in sequencing events in a story, in a procedure, or in anything that shows a sequence or of time. The example we have is, before you go to the stadium to watch your favorite basketball game, make sure that you have your snacks and a video camera that you will use during the game. Later, you will find it enjoyable when you can simultaneously eat while videotaping. Did you see how we use the transition words to connect and keep the ideas organized or in sequence? These are important to avoid confusion on the order of your context and also to help us highlight the time.
For the third one, we have cause and effect. Of course, we use this to show the consequences of an action. For the cause, we can use words accordingly, because, due to, and since. While to describe the effect, we can use words consequently, as a result, therefore, and so. Example: since you have been a consistent honor student and a skillful one, therefore, there would be a possibility that you would graduate cum laude or be cited with Technical Skills Award in college. As a result, you would have a better chance to find a job or be an entrepreneur, because some companies would prefer those applicants with impressive school records or those with technical skills. As you can see, we use the word since to show the cause that if you have been a consistent honor student and a skillful one, while we use therefore to give its effect, which is there would be a possibility that you would graduate cum laude or be cited with Technical Skills Award in college. The same thing goes with the transitions as a result and because. Are we clear? I hope we are. Moving on with illustration or example. We have illustration to add emphasis, an example to introduce evidence. To add emphasis, we use words such as to demonstrate, specifically, and truly. Then to introduce evidence, we have words for example, such as, namely, and for instance. So how do we use this in sentence or sentences? Example: Mateo loves vegetables. Truly, he is happy to eat those every day, specifically pinakbet, chop suey, and vegetable salads. To demonstrate his love for vegetables, Mateo is planning a vegetable social for all his friends. We use the word truly to illustrate how Mateo loves vegetables. The word specifically helps us to give examples of what vegetables or dishes that he likes, and also the transition word to demonstrate to add emphasis or to show Mateo's love for vegetables. Alright, I hope you are still with me as we move on to
addition, not the operation, but the transitional device that adds information or reinforces ideas. Can you read some of the transition word samples? Great! So now, how can we use these sample words? Gabriel loves, respects, and obeys his parents. Moreover, he helps in the household chores if he is not studying. Furthermore, he is grateful that his parents are very supportive in every task he does. If you will use these transition words under the nature of adding information, make sure that the ideas or thoughts are all connected or relevant with each other. And remember that you can use these to add a subject, a phrase, or it could be another sentence. Let's continue. So transition words under clarification basically helps us to show support to your ideas. And to clarify, we can use that is. In other words, to put it another way, I mean, in this case, and under circumstances. And to give you further elaboration to it, here is an example. Amy loves going to school. That is, she likes it very much. In other words, she wants to learn more. To put it another way, A school is one of the best places she needs to go for her to learn better. In here, the transition words helps us to describe how much Amy loves going to school. You might get confused with this clarification and illustration that I have mentioned earlier, but take note that illustration only adds emphasis or further explanation on what you are trying to say, while here in clarification is to show support to your main sentence or idea. Wherein here, in our example, our main idea is that Amy loves going to school. We use transitional devices in the next sentences to support the main idea that Amy loves going to school. Did you get it? Okay, let's keep the ball rolling.
The next type of transitional devices is qualification. It presents conditions or intentions. The sample words are almost, probably, with this in mind, frequently, possibly, and never. To show to you how qualification words are used, here is an example. With what was possibly the greatest fight of all time, the Filipino in the front lines faced the pandemic with bravery. They almost gave up but recovered. With this in mind, Filipinos have proven time and again to be resilient. So, the transition words possibly, almost, and with this in mind helped us connect the ideas to show the conditions or intentions of being a Filipino. Speaking of, are you proud of being a Filipino? Of course, I am sure you are. Let us all raise our flag together. Alright? Moving on the last type of transition words that we have here is summary and conclusion. Summary refers to the concise statement or key points of a text, research, or essay. It restates the main elements or attributes which have been discussed already. On the other hand, the conclusion is that section of the text or essay which serves as the final answer of your work. It synthesizes and wraps up the topic. Alright? Going back with the transitional devices, you can use these words in your summary. As can be seen, given this point, to summarize, to sum up, and so. For your conclusion, you can use words like in the long run, in conclusion, to conclude, therefore, and finally. Here is an example. All the documents have been presented, and as can be seen, the facts are clear. Given this point, it's time to correct the practices that do not conform the policies. In the long run, the nation and its people will benefit from this change. So that is an example of sentences on how you can use transition words to indicate summary and conclusion.
To summarize, these are the 8 types of transitional devices, and this concludes our topic.
We hope you understood how we use different transition words in sentences and how they are categorized by their nature or usage.
We hope we gave you enlightenment about the transitional devices.
Sincerely, Teacher Jason, Teacher Shayla, Teacher Jessica, Teacher Claire, and Teacher Cyril, your teachers for today's lecture.
We hope to see you in our next lesson. Goodbye!